Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are undertaking a massive deep dive into one of the most critical, complex, and frankly, rapidly evolving industries in the world, pharmaceuticals. We're going to be dissecting the strategies and technologies driving what industry leaders are calling the Pharma 4.0 revolution.
It's a seismic shift, really. This isn't just about, implementing better software.
Yeah.
It's a total overhaul of how drugs are discovered, how they're manufactured, and how they get to the patient. It really demands a completely new mindset.
And our mission today is, well, it's straightforward. We've gathered a stack of specialized sources, and we're going to extract the essential digital trends, the cutting-edge supply chain innovations, and the pivotal workforce shifts you need to understand.
This is the blueprint.
It is. This is the blueprint for the pharmaceutical ecosystem of the future, a market that, just for India alone, is projected to command somewhere between $120 and $130 billion by 2030.
That growth is, it's exciting, but we need to start with the pressure point,
Right.
the thing that's actually forcing this change.
Okay.
The industry is facing a monumental challenge right now. We call it the upcoming patent cliff.
A patent cliff. That sounds less like a challenge and more like an existential threat. How big a deal is this?
It's the driving narrative behind everything in Pharma 4.0. We're talking about drugs that represent an estimated $350 billion in annual worldwide revenues.
Wow.
And all of that is set to lose exclusivity by 2030. Think about that number, $350 billion.
That's staggering.
And what's critical is that the 20 largest pharmaceutical companies, they account for nearly 80% of that impending loss. So when you lose those blockbuster revenues, you have to find new efficiencies, you have to accelerate R&D, and radically cut costs if you want to survive.
So Pharma 4.0 is essentially the industry's survival guide. It's the strategy they're banking on to replace those massive revenue streams. What does it actually, mean?
Well, it's defined by the International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering, or ISPE.
Ah, the ISPE.
Yeah.
They set the standards, right?
Exactly. They're the organization setting global quality standards in this space. And they described Pharma 4.0 as a comprehensive transformation of culture, of systems, and of processes. It's applying the core principles of Industry 4.0.
Connectivity, intelligence, data.
All of that, but within an environment that is, heavily regulated and demands just impeccable quality control.
It sounds like the technological equivalent of a full-scale corporate detox.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, let's unpack the technology itself. Our deep dive reveals 4 core pillars holding up this new model. First, you need the foundation, digitalization.
The backbone.
Exactly, the backbone. This means implementing IoT devices, putting sensors on all the equipment, and just making sure everything is connected digitally and, crucially, secured by robust cybersecurity.
And once you have that data stream running, that's when you can build the next 2 pillars. You introduce smart manufacturing.
Which lets you monitor in real time, do predictive maintenance, fixing things before they break. And at the same time, you deploy advanced analytics using big data and AI to find patterns in all that operational data.
The final pillar would be the physical execution. That's the automation and robotics, taking over repetitive tasks to, I assume, eliminate human error and boost precision on the factory floor.
Right. And if we focus on that analytics piece, the speed of AI adoption is just astonishing. The sources show that in 2024, 65% of pharmaceutical organizations reported using generative AI in at least one business function.
65%. And that's up from what?
It essentially doubled from the previous year. It was 33% in 2023.
That speed just reflects how AI is fundamentally rewriting the timeline for drug development.
Yeah.
How is it changing the game beyond just, speeding up calculations?
It's moving discovery from, let's call it guesswork, to precision. In the lab, AI can accelerate the identification of viable drug candidates and biomarkers. Far faster than human scientists can process.
In manufacturing, it gives you predictive analytics. That means the systems can adjust parameters before a batch even starts to veer out of specification.
So it's proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. And strategically, AI can look at decades of clinical data and identify patterns that are just completely invisible to human analysts, leading to better, faster decisions across the board.
To make those decisions operational, let's look at 2 concepts that are bridging the digital and physical worlds: digital twins and continuous manufacturing. Let's start with the twin. You hear this term virtual replicas all the time. What's the strategic value in pharma?
The strategic value is all about risk mitigation and accelerating approval. A digital twin is a complete virtual simulation of a physical asset, or a process.
Mm-hmm.
It could even be an entire production line.
Okay.
It allows scientists to run millions of simulations for, say, drug compound behavior or manufacturing process adjustments, all in a virtual environment without risking a single drop of material or any downtime.
So instead of wasting expensive materials on physical trial and error, they just run it on the twin.
Precisely. They enable real-time monitoring and prediction of an asset's performance over its entire lifespan. And for a regulated industry, the biggest win is that this simulation data provides robust evidence for regulators.
Which helps speed up the approval process for new methods.
Yes. The ultimate goal here is simple. Improve quality and efficiency make advanced life-saving medicines more accessible and, hopefully, more affordable.
Then you have continuous manufacturing, which is transforming the production line itself. This is the big shift away from that slow, sequential batch processing.
Continuous manufacturing is it's revolutionary because it just never stops.
Right.
By flowing materials through the process continuously, it eliminates all that downtime between batches, the cleaning, the starting up, the stopping. This massively increases efficiency and throughput.
And more importantly,
it integrates quality control at every single point in real time. If something goes wrong, it's fixed instantly, not discovered hours later when the batch is ruined.
and this kind of rapid, high-quality production is absolutely necessary if we're talking about creating these highly personalized medicines we hear so much about, right?
Absolutely. We are moving toward a future where drugs might be tailored for a small group of patients, or maybe even just one patient. That requires a flexible, efficient, small-scale production capacity that really only continuous manufacturing can deliver consistently. You just get better product quality, superior resource optimization, and the ability to pivot to customized treatments.
So now we step outside the four walls of the factory and we look at logistics, where the challenges of, say, cold chain integrity and global distribution are just massive. The vision here is what's being called the autonomous supply chain.
This is sort of the holy grail of logistics, you know. A network where AI and machine learning algorithms handle all the planning, the ordering, the execution with minimal human oversight.
That's a huge undertaking.
It is. And to get there, you need what they call a real-time digital network that shares a single standardized data model across every single partner, from the, active pharmaceutical ingredient supplier all the way to the final mile delivery driver.
And what's the technology that's doing the actual learning to make it autonomous?
That would be the self-optimizing system called reinforcement learning, or RL.
Okay, break that down for us.
Think of it as very complex training. An RL agent, let's say it's a planning system, it interacts with its environment, which is the distribution network. It takes an action, it observes the consequence, and it receives a reward or a penalty.
So it's learning from its mistakes.
Over millions of interactions, yes. It learns the optimal sequence of behaviors to maximize its long-term cumulative gain.
So it's not just following a set of predefined rules that somebody programmed months ago. It's dynamically learning the best response to new conditions, like a port being shut down or a sudden spike in demand.
Precisely. And this has immediate applications. For instance, in inventory optimization, the RL system learns to balance the risk of running out of a critical drug against the massive cost of maintaining overstock.
And in logistics.
It's doing really sophisticated road optimization. It's constantly minimizing fuel costs and driver hours by dynamically rerouting vehicles based on real-time traffic, weather, unexpected events, you name it. We've seen these systems learn to achieve cost reductions of, say, 15 to 20% compared to traditional models.
Those are compelling numbers. Now, if AI is handling the optimization, integrity is absolutely paramount, especially with high-value, temperature-sensitive pharmaceuticals. And that's where the other critical piece, blockchain, comes in.
Blockchain really addresses the trust deficit in the system. It provides enhanced supply chain integrity by creating a tamper-proof, immutable record, sort of like a permanent digital receipt for every movement and temperature reading of a drug.
Which is essential for fighting counterfeits.
Absolutely essential for tracking drug provenance, combating the massive global counterfeiting problem, and most importantly, streamlining regulatory compliance.
Because regulators need absolute certainty that the drug hasn't been tampered with or, exposed to the wrong temperature.
Exactly. That immutable ledger makes audit so much simpler and faster. It ensures compliance with traceability standards globally. The sources show that these integrated AI blockchain supply chains can improve on-time delivery by 20 to 30%.
Which translates directly into saved lives.
It does.
But achieving true end-to-end autonomy, that's still a work in progress, as you noted. What are the biggest hurdles right now?
The primary hurdle is really scale and complexity. Our L agents are trained in simulated environments, right?
Right.
And it's incredibly challenging to design simulations that are complex and accurate enough to mimic the chaos and the regulatory constraints of a global pharmaceutical supply chain. Companies are struggling to shift these systems from what one source calls toy-like SCM problems driven by artificial data to real industry-scale problems.
The systems just have to be proven to be reliable enough for life or death decisions.
That's the bottom line.
Shifting our focus now from efficiency to responsibility, let's talk about sustainability. This is no longer a fringe requirement. It's a global mandate driven by investors and regulators.
It is.
And we know the problem is huge. Transportation accounts for over 27% of the EU's carbon footprint, and the traditional pharma model is inherently wasteful. It's a classic take, make, dispose, linear approach.
This is a perfect example of how those Pharma 4.0 pillars converge. We talked about continuous manufacturing, reducing physical waste. Now we can see how AI leverages data to dramatically cut emissions and drive circularity.
So how does AI specifically impact the carbon footprint of moving all these drugs around the world?
It works in two phases. First, AI provides what we call real-time emissions tracking. It continuously collects and analyzes data from routes, vehicles, facilities, and calculates the carbon emissions for every single step of the supply chain.
You can't fix what you can't measure.
Exactly. And the second phase is the optimization, using that data to choose the greenest path.
And that's the AI-driven route optimization.
Yes, and it's startlingly effective. Research indicates that implementing advanced AI-based fleet optimization can cut carbon emissions by up to 30%.
30% is a huge number.
It is. A great example is a system like UPS's Orion platform. It doesn't just calculate a route once, it dynamically recalculates thousands of routes throughout the day in real time, reacting to traffic and delivery status to ensure maximum efficiency.
And it's not just about better routing for trucks, it's about strategic planning, too.
Absolutely. You have strategic optimization, kind of like Amazon's anticipatory shipping model, which uses predictive analytics to move inventory closer to where it thinks demand will be before an order is even placed.
Cutting down on rush shipping and air freight?
Right. And you also have modal shift optimization AI systems recommending a shift from, say, high-emission road or air transport to more efficient options like rail where possible. All told, these strategies can reduce global freight logistics emissions by 10 to 15%.
This all feeds directly into this larger concept of the circular economy in pharma, the idea being, keep resources in use for as long as possible.
And this model is actually financially viable, not just environmentally sound. A key element is drug recycling programs.
I was going to ask about that.
There was a study of unused medications across a 21-hospital system. It found that implementing a robust recycling program diverted about 461,000 units of medication annually.
Wow. And what's the financial impact?
It saved those facilities roughly $415,000 per year in net value. It literally turns waste into savings and prevents environmental contamination.
But when recycling isn't an option, proper disposal is critical because these are complex chemical compounds. What are the mandated methods?
They're highly specialized. For large volumes of unusable drugs, there are processes like encapsulation, where the pharmaceuticals are mixed with cement or plastic foam into special drums.
Okay.
Or there's inert,ization, where the drugs are ground into a paste with water, lime, and cement before safe landfilling.
And within the production facilities themselves, the standards are becoming incredibly rigorous.
They have to be. Many modern facilities are now mandated to implement zero liquid discharge or ZLD systems. This is a complex engineering solution that treats all the wastewater and uses processes like reverse osmosis to recover and reuse 85 to 90% of the water used in manufacturing.
It's essentially a closed loop for water.
It is, and AI is really the central conductor here. It optimizes product design for circularity, it improves the reverse logistics for returns and recycling, and most fundamentally, better demand sensing just reduces the surplus inventory that becomes waste in the first place.
The sheer scale of this transformation means the people who run the industry are changing just as rapidly as the technology. Over the next decade, estimates show a massive shift.
A huge shift.
Roughly 90,000 current pharmaceutical jobs could disappear, but 90,000 to 120,000 new jobs will be created. That's a fundamental reconfiguration of the skills required.
It's a skills crisis wrapped in an opportunity. The most critical gap, cited by over half of pharmaceutical leaders as their top priority, is data literacy.
And we aren't just talking about knowing how to open a spreadsheet.
No, not at all. This requires understanding complex, healthcare-specific data concepts, quality assurance principles, and crucially, linking those insights to specific, actionable business outcomes.
So how do they bridge that gap? The goal isn't to replace the human workforce with algorithms, right? It's about creating a system of human-AI symbiosis.
Exactly. AI provides the processing speed, the tireless consistency, the ability to analyze massive data sets, but the human element is indispensable. We provide the emotional intelligence for patient care, the creativity for novel solutions, the ethical judgment.
And the contextual understanding of a highly regulated industry.
That's key.
So where is this symbiosis achieving real-world gains right now?
Clinical trials are a perfect example. AI-powered platforms can sift through global patient databases, regulatory guidelines, and geographic constraints to find and recruit the perfect patient profile for a trial faster than ever before.
Cutting years off development.
Yes. Companies like Amgen have used these platforms to effectively double their clinical trial enrollment speed. It also shifts quality assurance from being this reactive, inspection-based process to a proactive, data-centric methodology based on predictive failure points.
So for you, the listener, navigating this landscape requires a strategic roadmap. Let's look at the foundational frameworks that guide executive decision-making. We'll start with Porter's competitive strategies.
These strategies help companies decide how they're going to compete and survive this disruption. First, you have the focus strategy. This is where a company picks a very specific niche.
Like rare diseases.
Exactly, like specializing entirely in ultra-rare diseases or gene therapies.
Yeah.
They become the best in that one specific small area.
And the second option.
Cost leadership. This is the path for companies investing heavily in technologies like continuous manufacturing and AI-driven supply chains to get the absolute lowest production costs. They win by being the most efficient, often the strategy for generic manufacturers.
And finally, there's differentiation.
Differentiation means creating products that are perceived as unique and superior. This might be through innovative drug delivery systems, a better efficacy profile, or a dramatically better side effect ratio. They're solving a problem in a way no one else can.
Which lets them keep their prices up.
It allows them to maintain premium pricing, even as generics flood the market.
So that sets the internal goal. How do leaders structure their overall growth strategy? That brings us to the development strategy matrix.
This helps categorize the risk of various investment paths. A company might pursue a low-risk strategy like market penetration, just consolidating their presence in existing markets.
Or medium risk. What does that look like in pharma?
That's typically product or service development, meaning they launch a new product using their existing expertise for the markets they already serve.
Like a new formulation of an existing drug.
Right. Or they might pursue market development, taking a proven drug and launching it into a new geographic market, like expanding from the US into Asia.
And the highest risk, with the greatest potential reward, is diversification.
Diversification means tackling new markets with entirely new products. Imagine a traditional drug company suddenly moving into advanced cell and gene therapies. It's the highest risk, highest reward path for replacing that $350 billion revenue threat. These frameworks just allow leaders to make structured, informed decisions. So to pull all these threads together for you, the success of the Pharma 4.0 revolution is completely dependent on enterprise-wide commitment. You really can't separate the AI in the lab from the ZLD system in the factory or the data literacy of the supply chain manager.
It's all connected.
It requires integrating that comprehensive digital transformation with strategic workforce planning.
And looking ahead to Vision 2030, our sources are clear. Complete, transparent, end-to-end traceability will be the regulatory standard globally. This will be achieved through universal data standards that ensure every partner speaks the same technical language, making regulatory compliance faster and more automated. It's a mandatory evolution.
It is. But the truly provocative thought to leave you with concerns what comes next. The next big transformation lies in the convergence of quantum computing with these newly established digital frameworks.
Quantum computing.
Quantum computing will dramatically accelerate molecular discovery and simulation. It will make the dream of highly personalized, precise treatments a reality much sooner than we think.
That's astounding precision at the discovery level.
It is. But that precision at the discovery phase absolutely demands an equally precise and transparent supply chain system. We need universal data integrity and traceability standards.
To make sure those incredibly complex, individualized medicines actually reach the patient safely.
Safely and efficiently. The entire future of precision medicine is dependent on reliably linking quantum research to the last mile of logistics. Something to think about as you watch this space evolve.